Welcome back to the Dog Bowl food truck, and we have had a hell of a journey getting here, but looks like, big asterisk, big quotations. I don't know if I believe it yet, but it looks like we've made it back and everybody survived. So, I I'm gonna go ahead and continue recording. And even though I've had a little bit of soda already today, I think this calls for a brand new celebratory Beppis. Wonderful. We're back. Oh my god, we're back! Guys! Guys! I shake Carl next to me. He immediately swings a hand to slap at me, but I persist until he's forced to sit up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Jenna and Raven stir next to him. What is it? What happened? Guys, we're back! We're in your house, Carl! Carl finally snaps his eyes open at that. Raven sits up next to Carl, and I see him sway from the same dizziness that I'd had earlier. Where are we? My parents' room. Carl's voice is hushed, quiet, as if afraid if he speaks too loudly, this will all disappear. Relief, like I've never known before, flows through my body. Whether or not it was all a dream or a hallucination, or we were drugged, somehow it doesn't matter. What matters now is that we're home. Well, in Echo, at least. I look over at Jenna, hoping to see her back to her old familiar self. But I find her staring around suspiciously. That dark look still in her eyes. Maybe that would take a while longer to wear off? I slowly push myself off the bed, the height of it making it more difficult for my feet to reach the ground. I touch down with my good foot, and I'm a bit surprised when my toes come into contact with a cold hardwood floor. I thought this room had had carpet the last time I was in here. I look back at Carl and see a confused look on his face, the fur on his brow crinkling up in the bright sunshine. Something's a little off, man. What? Something's wrong. I feel the beginnings of that sinking sensation in my chest again. Why? My parents' room isn't this big. I look around. I guess it looks a bit bigger than usual. The balcony seems to be the right size, though. And the floor. He points at my feet. Where's the carpet? Carl confirms my suspicions. The dream continues to grow in my stomach, or the dread continues to grow in my stomach. Maybe they took the carpet out while we were gone? No one responds to that ridiculous idea. Jenna looks at the wall behind the bed and reaches out a hand to touch it tentatively. Carl lets out a loud, almost maniacal laugh. It's like I'm in a weird dream of my house or something. Carl pushes himself off the bed, his hooves clopping loudly, unnervingly against the hardwood floor that shouldn't exist. Fuck. Yeah. Fuck. I can see the same emotions I feel in my chest playing out in Carl's eyes right now. He reaches out to give me some support. Well, maybe there are other people here? Even Raven's cheerful tone is forced and strained. I guess I was expecting that we'd end up in another dream world or whatever, but the fact that I'd thought for just a moment we were back in the real world made this all the more soul-crushing. It feels like those fucking ghosts are toying with us at this point. I take a deep breath, willing myself not to lose it. Not yet, at least. Chase, I'm gonna move to the deck. I get a better grip onto Carl's side as he starts to move towards the glass doors, his hooves clopping while I hop. He stares out, slowly reaching up with a hand to tug at the handle. To my surprise, it opens. Guess I'd thought that it would be the same as the last place, wherein that we'd be locked in or something. I follow Carl as he steps out onto the balcony, taking slow, careful steps, as if afraid that the deck may give out. The air is hot and heavy, almost humid. This isn't normal at all in Echo. Sure, it would get really hot, but it's a desert. Humidity is near non existent. We reach the railing and stare out at the town below the foothills that Carl's mansion sits on. I take in a soft breath, just like in the dream I had. The ruins of Echo aren't ruins anymore. Dozens of old-fashioned wooden buildings dot the edge of the lake. A little ways away, I see the familiar buildings of the motel and supermarket, along with the small neighborhood of my childhood. And along Main Street, I see a few buildings that I don't recognize. Not quite as old-fashioned as the buildings along the lake, but still pretty old-looking. What the hell? Carl almost whines out the words as I see him grip tightly onto the hand railing. I move closer to his side, putting an arm around his shoulders. Come on, man, we're gonna figure this out. This is just... I struggle to figure out what this just is, but I come up short. Listen, I saw this in a dream, and I think they were trying to tell me something. What dream? A dream I had before I woke up. I have them almost every time we passed out. Why are you the only one having these dreams? I jump as Jenna speaks right behind me. I turn around, finding her eyeing me suspiciously. I don't know. None of you had dreams? I did. Raven pops his head up from around the glass doors, still with that bizarrely resilient grin on his face. But it was about that black shadow creature thing chasing me through the kitchen, so I guess it's not really useful. What did you see in your dream, Chase? Well, this. I wave my hand out at the alternative reality town. But then the mine, too, like red stuff spread out out of it, over the town, and then I saw a noose. I instinctively look over the edge of the balcony, down toward where I remember seeing the tree. Carl looks too. What is it? Well, I saw a tree with a noose on it. Carl looks slowly back up at me. Down there? I think so. The look of utter defeat in Carl's face has me hesitant to confirm it. The formatting on defeat is a little weird. Like, I don't know if that's the first time this type of formatting has shown up. Also, there's no space between the ellipses and the D, so... What the fuck? I take a deep breath, trying to put what I feel into words. That dream, the way it zeroed in on the tree, it felt meaningful. I think we need to go to it. Jesus, why? Carl buries his face in his hands as he leans against the railing, shaking his head slowly from side to side. I don't know, but I don't know where else to start. This place is massive. So what? They put another letter for us to find for some reason. Maybe? Guys? Carl keeps his head in his hands as I turn around. Raven is still standing by the glass door, but he's looking back into the room. Jenna left. What? Sure enough, Jenna is nowhere to be seen. Where'd she go? Raven shrugs. Downstairs, I guess. Was she going to the tree? Are you coming to the tree? I start to move back into the house, then remember my destroyed ankle. I look back and see that Carl is still slumped against the railing. Carl. He doesn't look up. Carl, we need to keep moving. Finally, the ram pulls his head out of his arms and turns to help me. Which, quick aside thing here, but where's Carl's lighter? Like, that was really cool. That was a really cool lighter, and Flynn gave it to him, and. Like, I know he went to an interview and whatnot, but that feels like, and I use this term a lot, it's called a Chekhov's gun. Basically, the term Chekhov's gun kind of just means that if you see a gun on, like, the literal term of it is that if there's a gun on the mantle of a fireplace, that gun's gonna go off before the story is over. Which is kind of why in Pirates of the Caribbean they had a subversion of Chekhov's gun, where in the first Pirates movie there were swords hanging above the mantle of the fireplace. And so when the pirates were attacking Elizabeth's house, she goes and tries to get a sword, and immediately it just the whole crest like comes off, and she can't get it, use it. So it's a big subversion of Chekhov's gun, where it intentionally does not go off. Whereas instead we get the alternative Chekhov's gun of that little bed warmer thing where they took warm coal, like hot coals, and put it underneath her bed to get the bed warm. That became the Chekhov's gun. So it's a funny little subversion of that. So I really do feel like Carl's lighter might be a Chekhov's gun. I really am curious what we're looking at here when it comes to that. But we'll figure it out. He gets me into our familiar position, with me clinging to his neck while I hop along. I'm relieved he's actually moving, but I don't like the dull look in his eyes one bit. Raven, Carl, and I head down the hall toward the stairs. Carl's right. It's like a dream of Carl's house. Carl mentions that there are a few extra doors, all of which lead to bare hardwood floor rooms. The ground level of the house looks mostly normal. As we make our way through Carl's sort of home, I realize something. You guys hear the trains when we were out on the deck? I wasn't gonna mention that, but I was kind of curious about it. Maybe. Why? I thought I did. Just kind of weird. Like, what are those trains doing in a world that isn't really real? Maybe it is real. Maybe. I'm not convinced. As we pass through the living room, I can see that it's set up like it always is, and the kitchen looks to be in order as well. As we step outside, I notice that the mansion looks the same for the most part. Not the massive old look it had in my dream. I hop along down the curving driveway from Carl's house like I remember in my dream. How Jenna would be able to find the tree on her own is beyond me. The only indication I'd given her as to where it was a glance over the railing of the deck. Man, it's so fucking close to being real, this place. Yeah. I don't have much else to add, but he's right. It feels so close to being home, but none of it is home. I slow my pace as I turn right at the end of Carl's driveway, practically tugging the ram along. We move the short distance down the road, then move to the edge on the left side of the road. I look down over the side onto the rocky, sagebrush covered slope, and there's Jenna. Somehow, she immediately found it on her own. That old, rickety wooden platform sits under the tree. The tree and platform definitely aren't in the real Echo. There were a few scant mentions of a hanging tree in my research. If it was still standing, I'd have gone to get some film for my project. That project seems like something I was working on years ago at this point. I carefully start to climb down the slope, clinging to Carl. I'm about to call out to Jenna when I stop cold. As we moved to the side, the thick trunk of the tree shifted in my field of view and revealed the noose. Unlike my dream, the noose isn't empty. Hanging from the noose is a body. From where I'm standing, I can't see exactly what it is. Its back is to us, and all I can make out is a head, hands, and feet, and some old-fashioned clothes, overalls, and a cotton shirt of some kind. The clothes look worn and old, like they've been sitting out in the elements for years. I stop moving, instead staring at the body. Carl freezes too, and I can feel his ragged breathing in my ear. Jesus, Carl gasps. I stare for what feels like an entire minute before I find my voice. Jenna? She's also facing the body, so I can't see her face, but she holds up a hand towards me to quiet me before slowly pacing around the platform. It looks like she's moving towards the front, so I steel myself and slowly follow her. I don't want to look at the body as I move, but I can't tear my eyes away. It's old, very old. The fur is mostly gone, the skin underneath black and leathery. The face is drooping and sunken, the eyelids closed. It's been out in the sun for a very long time. I don't know much about corpses, so I don't know how long. I just know that it's been a very long time. From what I can tell, it's a canine of some kind. A fox? John? For some reason I look towards Jenna to see if she'll let us know who it is. She doesn't, instead just staring at the body. Carl tightens his grip around my shoulders. I'm not sure if it's for support against the uneven ground, or the horror in front of us. Raven has chosen not to follow. Instead he stands back behind the platform, looking away from the body. I swallow hard, trying to keep my nerves under control, trying to look at the situation like it's a simple task. Do you guys see anything? A note or something? I try to search the platform and avoid looking up at the body. There's something in its mouth. Carl points up at the corpse with a shaking finger. He's right. There's a flash of white in the mouth of the corpse, just barely sticking out from what looks like gnarled teeth. A piece of paper, maybe? I'm surprised at how successful I am at keeping my voice calm. I sort of feel a little numb to all of this now. But I think we both realize at the same time what this means. That we're going to have to actually get that piece of paper. God, I hope this isn't like almost... sorry, I just had an immediate flashback to, So everybody knows what a golem is. You know, it's just a construct of some sort, whether it be like an automaton of clay or something. It's just a artificial statue-like thing given life. Well, the golem is, I believe, originally from Jewish faith. I'm not a historian. This is just what X-Files and learning about some old black and white films have taught me. But the point is, you had the golem, and if you did it successfully, you would write your command in a piece of paper and place it in the golem's mouth, and it would then obey. come to life and do your bidding. Fuck, man. Why do we have to do this? Why don't they just tell us what they want us to know? I cling to Carl as much as he's clinging to me, trying to keep him calm. Listen, I'll get it. It's just a body. No, it's not. Nothing's just as it is in this fucked up place. Jenna suddenly turns on the two of us, causing both of us to flinch back from her. Chase, you need to get it. What? What? You can't even fucking walk. I can crawl. He had the dream. They want him to be the one to get it. He volunteered anyway. That doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. Why the hell don't you get it? Carl has adjusted himself so that he's standing halfway in front of me, protectively. Because that's what they want. That's bullshit. If you know something, Jenna, then why don't you fucking tell us? Carl's snarling at Jenna now, which is all the more impressive because Rams can't snarl. We can't be doing this right now. Here we are in this fucked up dimension in front of a mummified corpse arguing. I put my hand against Carl's chest. Listen, I'll get it. This is what they want, and this will help us move forward. I try not to think about actually going up the wooden steps to stand in front of the corpse, but I don't really have any other options right now. Carl doesn't loosen his hold on me. Fuck no. Jenna, you get it since you seem to know what the fuck is going on. Carl squeezes me tighter against his chest as he leans in to glare at Jenna. Jenna glares right back, and I can see her lips trembling as she appears to be holding back her own snarl. Stop it! Carl, let me go. I'm gonna get the paper. No, Chase. Carl, nothing bad has happened when it comes to getting these stupid pieces of paper. I'll be fine. You sure about that one, bud? Chase, are you stupid? Do you not remember that when we found the first one, you got the letter and the giant crazy smoke monster was throwing you and Raven and Carl around the kitchen? And then in the cabin, you found one and it got caught on fire in Raven's hand, and then later on, the shadow tentacle monster was trying to, frickin' Krampus horror movie suck Jenna up the chimney. I'm looking at it like, Chase, are you stupid? Whatever. Carl looks down at me, his face etched with stubborn resoluteness. It's at least a nice change from the almost dead look that I'd seen earlier. He stares at me hard for a good long while, to the point where I almost blush until finally, fine, but I'm coming up with you. I don't think... Shut up. Shut up, Jenna. Each word seems to have to work hard to get itself out of Carl's muzzle. It's okay. Let's go. I let Carl hold my hand as we both move toward the platform, over uneven ground. I notice Raven standing off to the side, still facing away from us. I'd have to check on him later. The wood creaks softly under our feet as we make our way up the steps. I focus on my hopping foot, not wanting to look at the body. Once we reach the top, I realize that I'm going to have to. Leaning heavily against Carl for support, I look up. The corpse's eyes are open now. 2 yellow, piercing eyes that are sunk deep in the skull stare back at me. You are disgusting. I'm disgusting. You're abhorrent, despicable, Horrible. Foretelling truths. Foretelling your own truth. You don't know my story. My truth. Your truth is a delusion. You cruel, filthy son of a bitch. What do you want from me? I want justice. You and your people don't know the meaning of the word. Just let it rest. Let me rest. And you'd leave me restless? Murderer. You may not have killed me physically, but you murdered my life. You fucking... The otter hears us. So, if he hears us, then it wants him to. Why does it? You think I know? Why does it create these places? Let us do small things, then take it away. It's a game. My life, my reputation is a game to it. Ha! A game. Go on. Why don't you tell him your truth? The otter works with you. I wouldn't help him even if I could. But you can't, can you? You are but smoke. Good thing, too. You and your fucking lies. I will tell him this. Otter, you are stuck here because you cannot see the truth. And until you do, how will he know the truth if you only lie? You are disgusting. I'm 9 or 10, and I'm sitting under a tree in the forest. I like the feeling you get when you've finished crying. The stuffed up nose and the throbbing in my head, along with the feeling of having just run 10 miles. Like I've just finished something really hard, and now it's over. And then a creak in the branches above me. I look up and see the fox hanging from a rope. His dead eyes are on me. Why don't you get your ass up here and dig it out yourself then? He's awake. Chase? A big hand is cradled below my head as I stare at the horns waving around above my eyes. Between them hangs the fox. Wait, what? A big hand is cradled below my head as I stare at the horns waving around above my eyes. Between them hangs the fox. So, God, I wish that were a CG. That would be a fucking moment. Jesus. Imagine that, like, the POV of you looking up at Carl, and just behind his head, like where the horns part, is the corpse of the fox. Oh my God. Fan artists, if somebody, okay, who all the people, lovely people who listen to this video, if there is fan art of this exact scene, please let me know. I want to see that. Like, oh my God. Also, I've seen exactly one macro-micro picture of Leo and Chase, and if there's more than one, let me know. I'd like to see that as well. Ooh-boo. Hey, you okay? What happened? I don't know. There were eyes? I stare hard at the fox, but the eyes are closed. Yeah, me too, but you sort of just fell back. Sorry, I dropped you, and I think you hit your head. That would explain the headache. My head throbs with each heartbeat. Why didn't you just grab the letter, Chase? Are you kidding me? I flinch at Carl's loud voice and the spit that flicks up my face. He just passed out, and that thing had something to do with it. Like I said, dig it out of the fucking mouth if you want to. Dig what out? I crane my head painfully to look at Jenna. She stands in the exact same spot, staring stoically. Raven has moved to stand next to her, but now his eyes are wide, staring at the fox. I turn my head back around toward the hanging fox, and that's when I see that the letter is gone. Where'd it go? I push myself up, cringing as I once again forget about my ankle. hurriedly fusses around me, helping me stand. I keep my eyes on the fox the entire time, but I don't see any signs of life. What happened?